Good morning and welcome. As president of the Direct Marketing Association, we have the pleasure of having come rushing into the 90s. We took on digital about 5 years ago. Up until that point, we were predominantly a direct mail association, and we believed that the principles based in one-to-one marketing in direct mail applied very much to digital media, and that Google themselves and Facebook consider themselves in the direct marketing space, so we moved pretty rapidly into digital media. I ran my own ad agency for 20 years and sold it off to one of the big guys. And the ad agency was traditional strategy. We were in charge of brands like Canon, Pioneer Electronics, Air Canada Vacations, and we managed our entire brand pre-digital. So I would say in the late 90s or early 2000s when really the digital revolution started. And what I've noticed as a professional in the business is that during that first 10 or 15 years as we used it digital, we used it the way we knew how to use it. In other words, prior to digital, there were basic principles of marketing that we all followed. We tried to do it customer-centric, but we never had a medium that talked back. We never had one that actually, we tried to understand what was going on over there, but with mass media, it was a lot more difficult. In today's market, this one talks back, and it's very, very different. So we take a stand that the principles, the mindset for traditional advertising is very different than digital. And the mistake that we've made over the last 15 years is we've applied traditional mindset to digital, and it hasn't worked. So I'm going to declare digital broken. And what we want to talk about in the next 45 minutes is how we might go about starting to get into that next phase of digital where we start to use it well. Kevin's got some brilliant strategies. Kevin is the smartest digital strategist I've had the pleasure of working with. He's written some, I think, mind-bending work on the whole, really the context of digital marketing and where you have to come from in order to do it well. And if you come from that traditional strategy, you're going to fail. You cannot apply traditional tactics and context to digital marketing. And for the most part, that's what we've done. As brands, we're trying to shove our brand down their throats using digital, and it's not working. Kevin will get into some detail as to how it's not working. But prior to Kevin speaking, Joan is going to walk us through the Alliance of Audited Media, for those who don't know, is formerly ABC Audits. They're the ones who audit all publications like newspapers and magazines, and they're the ones that tell us as advertisers that it's legitimate, that the circulation is audited, and that they are indeed reaching. One of the biggest problems in digital advertising right now is the cheating and the fraud that's going on. Mark Pritchard from Procter & Gamble has made it very clear that Procter & Gamble's commitment to digital is waning fast because he knows he's being cheated. And he needs measurements that are honest and that are real people, those clicks are real people. And Joan and the Alliance of Audited Media have some phenomenal new technology. She'll explain to you how they're going to set a standard so that when you buy digital advertising, you're actually getting what you think you're buying. So that's an important piece. So when we say digital is broken, it's broken in many ways. It's broken on a strategic level, but it's also broken on an implementation level. And then Carolyn is going to talk. Carolyn is our client-side representative who's trying to alter the digital culture inside a large enterprise company, and she's a lead on one of the marketing teams, but it's her role to shift the mentality of digital marketing to keep up with these changes. She recognizes that it is shifting gears. We're coming into digital 2.0, and what do we have to do to change the mindset and improve it? So I've already taken too long. I really want to hand things over, so I'm going to introduce Joan Braille. Let's make sure you're on. Can you hear me now? Verizon. No, we're hearing me, not you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hey.
All right. Thank you to the back of the room there. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. I want to tell you a little bit more about me. I've been in the business for about 3 decades, so I've kind of revealed my age there. But I think it's really important because we have seen a lot of things, as Derek said, over the past couple of decades. And I've worked in editorial, research, I've been a publisher, I've worked in agencies, I'm now working for the Alliance for Audited Media, running the operation here in Canada. And I guess what I wanted to say as I start out here is that I'm really passionate about our business, and I think all of you are too. That's why you're here in this room. So some of these things, I don't want to scare you, but I think they're things that we as an industry have to come together, and we can solve the issues that exist, like we have over the years in many different areas. A little bit more about the company I represent. The Alliance for Audited Media is a not-for-profit, tripartite structure of publishers, ad agencies, and advertisers. So by the industry, for the industry is what we like to say. We were founded by the Association of National Advertisers in 1914, so more than 100 years ago. And our role is to bring trust and transparency to media. And we still bring that credibility through cross-media audits for nearly 2,700 quality publishers across North America. So Canada and the US is where we predominantly serve. We work with major publishers and advertisers to bring reliable data to the media industry as a whole. We believe in verification, accountability for media partners through trusted data that helps buyers buy and sellers sell with complete transparency and confidence. We collaborate with industry members and our clients to understand trends, some good, some bad, across the industry, and help them develop new initiatives for the industry. As I mentioned earlier, we believe in quality and confidence across all media challenges. What we do is the difference between saying, believe me, and providing proof, because there's proof in numbers. And we're auditors at heart, but huge data distributors as well. Media's gone through a remarkable transformation in just 20 years. This cover, I actually worked at Time Magazine when this cover in 1994. It was huge. We brought Philip Elmer DeWitt on a speaking tour and people, the information highway. And as I look out into the room, I can see there's probably some of you that were toddlers at that time, but that's where kind of it all started. So we've come a long way from this strange new world to an everyday part of our world. As I like to say, oh, this internet thing is going to catch on, is what some of us were saying. It's actually become such a big part of our lives. The transformation has impacted our business, media, marketing in so many different ways. This is the first banner ad, just so you can chuckle a little bit, that ran October 1994 issue of Hot Wired, which was the web version for Wired magazine, and this was for AT&T. Now fast forward to 2017. Content and advertising are delivered instantly on our phones, watches, laptops, iPads, and looking ahead, the pace of change will just continue to accelerate, as Derek said when we opened. So how far have we really come? 2017 is shaping up to be an interesting year, without a doubt, now more than ever. This cover ran April 2017. Individuals and businesses are looking to media for steadfast journalism, insightful perspectives with clear, transparent brand voices. We have this moment in 2017, if you will, where integrity, honesty, and credibility are being challenged. Who do we believe? I think a lot of people are asking that question. This is a growing time of distrust for media from the public and advertisers. We've probably never had a time when there's been a more intense focus on truth in the media. What does this transformation mean for you, for us? Derek mentioned Mark Pritchard. I have been at numerous conferences over the past several weeks, and this wouldn't be a 2017 marketing conference if we didn't insert Mark Pritchard, Chief Brand Officer at P&G, into the discussion. You know, what he wants us to consider and is demanding of his suppliers, publishers, is that they verify the traffic that they are saying that they're delivering the audience for his ads. The promise of digital was always the right ad to the right person at the right time, and it's a promise that really has not yet been fulfilled, if you will. Advertising, as we know it, has been disrupted. One thing we know for sure is that everything changes, and it seems to happen at a faster pace than before. Media and marketing are under tremendous pressure. That's all of us. And advertising, as we know, it has been disrupted. What does this transformation mean for you? So I have some information to share that illustrates some of today's key issues in media that could be turned into opportunities if we all work together. First is the explosion in programmatic media buying. 70% of all digital ads today are bought programmatically. Is transparency possible in this complex, changing programmatic environment? Automated media buying has allowed advertisers to target their audiences instantly, but it also has replaced some personal relationships that happen with face-to-face media buying. This fast-paced automated environment has opened the door for fraud. As marketers, we need to make sure that our ads are displayed where we think they're going to be displayed and that real human beings are seeing the ads. You need to ask questions and really vet your media business partners before you begin working with them. Situation: as digital ad spend increases, so does the need for transparency. In 2017, eMarketer predicts that total U.S. digital ad spend, this is U.S. figures, will grow to $83 billion. It's the highest ever. And while Facebook display and Google search ads account for more than half of that total spend, there is a $30 billion piece of that pie that is spent across 329 million sites. Looking at the universe of 320 million registered domains, and that's what I'm going to focus on here because Google and Facebook are a whole other game. And this is according to VeriSign Q4 2016. It's estimated that only the top 3 of those 11 million sites get the most human page views. These 11 million legitimate sites host content that humans would want to read and range from the sites you've heard of, like ESPN.com, Forbes.com, you've probably heard of those. And other long tail that have content, very niche, small content that audiences are truly interested in. That leaves 97% of registered domains, a huge number, that may have URLs such as 000au000.com, sites that exist for questionable purposes. This leads to a major problem in today's digital advertising marketplace. In the universe of those 320 million sites, it's estimated that anywhere from 30 to 50% of the ad spend is wasted on fraud. That's a lot of money. Even within the top 3% of those sites with human page views, there are no standards today to prove whether sites with premium names have completely clean traffic or bot traffic. So why is this a problem? Because ads that are shown to bots will never convert. They won't. They're robots. With low conversion rates and low ROI, buyers are led to question their investments and trust of publishers. Ad fraud sends money to criminals instead of good publishers that have real human audiences that could earn much more if the market was clean. In short, the race toward low CPMs has poisoned the market, creating ill will between buyers and sellers and increasing the pocketbooks of fraudsters. What can be done to solve the problem? If we identify and focus spend on sites that are truly premium through AAM quality certification, which is a service that we have developed with the aid of the industry and across all segments of it. It will create this cycle of quality that doesn't exist today. If buyers advertise on quality certified sites, they'll reach more human targets, increase their ROI, and continue to direct their ad dollars to those quality sites. When certified, publishers receive those ad dollars. They can continue investing in quality publishing to attract more human audiences. We've all heard about fake news, and there was a reference to fake content earlier this morning. And then that helps the buyers that choose to invest in reaching their humans on these sites, and the cycle of quality continues, and everyone wins. So take fraud out, minimize at best we can in the ecosystem, identify and focus on sites that are truly premium through quality certification, and redirect advertisers about $15 billion, if it's 50% of that $30 billion, to publishers with highly human audiences. The AM quality certification uses multiple techniques to detect the signs of ad fraud. When we find signs of smoke, like a smoke detector, our auditors work with publishers to help them put out the fire. It's proprietary information, and we help them bifurcate. It's a three-step publisher certification process. There's a business process review, we validate quantities, and then we validate the business practices that they are working properly to deliver high-quality audiences. So the solution is, there are major issues that may threaten the industry. Ad fraud, brand safety that we've talked about, ad blocking, viewability. But with trust and working together, we believe that we can solve these problems. Thank you.
Test. Good morning. So it was funny because Derek phoned me. Is that okay? Yep. Derek phoned me a little while ago and said, "Hey, Kevin, I want you to come speak on this panel. And I know you've worked in the ad agency world, in the brand world, in the consulting world, in Europe and North America, Canada, US. And I know you've taken all that stuff that you've done over 20 years and you've compiled it down into 5 seminar lectures, but I need you to deliver all that in about 10 minutes.
Not asking much, huh?
No problem. So here I am thinking, I'm like, okay, I've got to somehow disrupt a group of people and in 10 minutes get them to stop and think and somehow get them to see that there's a massive problem going on, but yet you're also the ones who can fix it. So Michelle, I don't know where you are that just spoke last. Thank you. You talk about storytelling. So let's tell a story. You see, when I was a kid, I loved sports. And above all, though, I loved basketball. I loved basketball because basketball had Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan was the absolute icon of excellence. And so I wanted to be like Mike. In fact, Mike ran campaigns, just be like Mike. And so every year, to keep me hooked into wanting to be like Mike, what did they do? They got me to want to buy his shoes. And what did I believe? I believe categorically that no matter what, if I could invest and beg my parents to spend an obscene amount of money on a pair of basketball shoes, I could perhaps just be like Mike a bit more. And so year in and year out, I would pursue the want to buy basketball shoes. But newsflash, did the basketball shoes make me a better basketball player? No. Not at all, right? And here we are at DigiMarcon, and we're going to hear all kinds of presentations about all kinds of things and all kinds of new things. And are they going to necessarily make you a better marketer? No. Right? They might give you some new tools or new assets, but are they really going to help you convert the strategic game that marketing and brand is begging you to fix? Frankly, a lot of brands right now acted like I did as a teenager. They chased the latest and greatest thing, hoping that they're going to do something new and innovative and great with it, but it's not working. I ran an agency. I owned an agency. I've worked in marketing for almost 20 years. Confessional booth. Probably, maybe some of you can relate to this. As a marketer, I've had many times where I've heard or I've even said, marketing belongs at the C level, right? We need to be treated with respect. We're an investment, not a cost. You ever heard that? Anyone? Right? You ever thought that? But we don't get it. We don't get that respect. And frankly, it doesn't happen because we made a mess. Derek didn't speak about this in his introduction, but Derek is by far the guru on CASL, the Canadian anti-spam legislation. Joan just spoke about we need to audit media, right? Fundamentally, marketing has and is always, and it will be, it's about a relationship, right? Between a brand and another brand or a brand and a person. And our job as a marketer is to form that relationship based on trust. Now, I just said it's a mess. Why does CASL exist? Because we screwed it up. We screwed up email marketing. So we have laws now because that thing called trust, hire me, I'm the marketer, because I'll help you build a trusting relationship. CASL, right? You can trust me to build a relationship between me and your consumer or your target audience. Media. It's a mess. And we made it a mess. And we stand there saying, hey, trust me. I'm the guy that can fix your brand problems. We have a problem on our hands. It's a big one. So the goal of marketing hasn't changed. The goal of basketball hasn't changed. In basketball, if you score more points than the other team, at the end of the game, you win. The goal of marketing is take a brand, form a relationship with an audience so that there's change behavior. Buy this, sell this, do that, endorse this, whatever. Right? The fundamental goal remains the same. But just like basketball, let's stick on that metaphor for a second. Since Michael Jordan retired, the game has kind of changed. The strategies have changed, the coaching strategies. You now got 7-foot centers that can shoot three-pointers, right? You didn't have that back then. Marketing has shifted. It's radically changed. And not to bore you with a history lesson, but for 30 seconds, just bear with me. 1905, the University of Pennsylvania launched a course called The Marketing of Products. That's really kind of where academia began to get involved with marketing. What happened then was you had different eras of prominence in marketing, right? There was radio, there was TV, there was print, newspaper, magazine, whatever. Then you had stuff like integrated marketing communications and guerrilla marketing, and all these things kind of had their spot on our podium of being the thing that you need to be great at. Joe mentioned some dates in there, but in and around the 2000, the .com era, we needed to do web. See the pattern? Right? Something new comes out, I need to buy new Air Jordans, right? Web comes out, I better be good at web. 2003, 2004, 2005, right? You've got Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. I'm still a crappy basketball player even if I've got new shoes, right? And as Derek quickly mentioned in his opening comment, the root problem there is that since 1905, as marketers who are supposed to build a relationship of trust, we have spoken at an audience. You listen to the radio, you watch the TV, you read print, right? And for the first years of digital, what did we do? We basically took the brochure and we shoved it on the internet, right? So you can now read the brochure on the internet. But as Derek said, it's no longer talking at, it's talking with. It's now a relationship game. So the essence of promotion has significantly decreased and the essence of engagement has significantly increased. Okay? That's the fundamental what's going on. Now, if you want proof on this, this is not just Kevin's Kool-Aid. Okay, so I've got some stats so I don't mess them up. Joan also mentioned some numbers. This is according to Forbes. US retail spent $23.5 billion in digital 2016. They're forecasting by 2021 $120 billion in spend. Adweek. 4 years ago, the average advertising agency, the percentage of revenue that equaled digital was 25.8%. Now it's over 40%. Okay? And what are they doing? They're spending money in digital so that they can have a relationship based on trust with their target audiences to elicit change behavior. That's our job, right? But Forrester, nasty Forrester, they evaluated the top 50 brands globally. McDonald's, Toyota, Nike, Coke, and on and on. They did a year-over-year comparison. And they evaluated 11.5 million interactions. And they looked at 3 things. You need to understand these 3 things are enormously telling to the disaster that we're living in. The volume of digital year over year doubled. So that means how much noise did the brand or the brand's agency make in digital space? It doubled year over year. The follower count, right, which is the people on the, let's say, the target audience side, the follower count, which basically means I want to connect with you, I want to have a relationship with you, also doubled. The engagement score, this is the big one, this is the number 3. So I'm making twice as much noise, I'm getting twice as many followers, engagement scores. Twitter, minus 10%. Instagram, minus 50%. Google Plus, minus 35%. So you're making twice as much noise, and people are saying, I want to connect with you, but you're making so much of the wrong noise, they're saying, I'm not interested. The only one that went up was Facebook, and it's 5%. And they say that's because you pay, it's paid advertising. In English, what do those numbers mean? 2 years ago, the aggregate average of engagement scores, 1%. The second year, 0.5%. Okay? If as a husband, I listen to my wife, 0.5%, do you get what I'm saying? Do you understand? Not so happy marriage, right? Like you get that, right? The whole point is, you know, are there any agency guys in the room? Any agency people? Couple? Okay, agency people. Accenture does a national study over 11 different countries, okay? They evaluated CEOs from major corporations, and only 6% of the people in these corporations see their agency as a solution to their digital problem, right? And 50% of brands are looking to switch agencies this year, okay? Obviously, the rest of you are brand-related marketing people. Forbes, 32%. Yeah, only 32% of brands believe that digital is helping achieve business results. 32%. Okay? That's not good. It's not good at all. More importantly, digital, when you ask CEOs, it's in their top 3 priorities. So digital is important, and we are not performing. And we're not performing because we're buying Air Jordans, right? And we're expecting what we used to do to work. Our role as marketers, so far, we have a score of 1% last year, or 2 years ago, and 0.5% last year. That's our average engagement score. Our role is to develop a relationship of trust using this thing called digital so that target audiences and brands connect. That's our job, fundamentally. We've made a mess, right? We need to stop thinking about, should I do programmatic? Should I buy Instagram or Facebook? Should I think about Twitter? Or how can I use automation better? Stop talking at an audience and understand that you need to develop a relationship with. Now, in closing, because I know we're tight on time, the thing that you can walk away with as you need to tell this to the people that you work with, an analogy. Digital is to marketing what gunpowder was to war. Stick with me, hold on. Digital is to right? Digital is to marketing what gunpowder was to war. Before gunpowder, wars happened. Army 1 on one side, Army 2 on the other side. Spears, arrows, bows, whatever, line them up and crash into each other. Right? They would just slam into each other, and the guys with the bigger army usually won. Gunpowder comes around, and you look at the early, Civil War. What do? They had guns and cannons, but they lined them up, and they just crashed into each other. And then the military generals who were smart said, wait a minute, I don't need to do that anymore. I can use snipers and like little tactics that are different. So the way wars were fought changed because of gunpowder. The way digital marketing happens because of digital is different. You can't keep lining up, talking at an audience and hoping that maybe now this time it's going to work. 4 things you need to know about. And if you're interested in this and you think I'm not completely insane, give me your business card and I can send you a white paper which explains all this in more than 10 minutes. 4 things. Strategy. Number 1, brands are looking to marketers to say, I need you to tell me how to do it. Strategically, how do I play this new game called marketing in digital? 2, customer profile segmentation. Right? When you hear someone say to you, my audience is women in their 40s. Oh boy, right? But why do people click on content? We can now measure it, but why? So learning how to develop customer profiles based on engagement motive drivers in digital. Number 2, okay? It's all in the white paper. You can have it. Number 3, so now that you know your customer and what motivates them, how do you deploy content against that to elicit engagement? Not talking at, talking with, developing a relationship. And of course, last but not least, number 4, analytics. How do you measure? What do you measure? And how do you report without lying? Right? So that you actually can show you're developing and changing behavior. Folks, I am out of time. But ultimately, categorically, most importantly, the game of marketing has changed because of digital, right? Stop buying fancy shoes. Strategically make the mental shift towards engagement because that's what brands need. With fancy shoes, you might look good, but you're still going to be sitting on the bench. Thanks for your time.
All right, so I'm going to round us out with the practical application of living and breathing this. So at Sun Life Canada, we've been on a journey of digital transformation for the past few years, ultimately to ensure the client is at the center of everything we do. And in a traditional P&L-based environment, 150-year-old company, you can imagine there's significant change management that comes with this. So I'm going to share 3 key lessons we've learned and areas that you can focus on in your organizations as well, whatever size or shape they might be, so that you can be successful moving into this dialogue age we need to build that my colleagues have just referenced, either that we've really messed up or we need to really improve what we're doing and how we're talking to our clients. So lesson number 1 is we don't know our clients well enough. So again, as you just heard Kevin saying, especially, we must know our clients. A few of the speakers earlier today as well. They need to feel like they're having a one-on-one conversation with us. This means we need to be highly personalized, timely, and relevant. So a recent briefing from eConsultancy reported that targeting, personalization, and client journey management are the highest priorities for marketers in financial services and insurance. And 55% of those marketers plan to increase investment in personalization in 2017. I thought that was really key that it's so honed in now, this dedication to personalization specifically, that there's actually an investment line item that says we will dedicate money to increasing personalized experiences. From the customer's perspective, McKinsey reports that 61% of customers, regardless of industry, this is broad North American customers, said they're more likely to buy from companies delivering that custom content. So the need is there, the desire is there. Now it's for us to be able to deliver as companies to meet that need. So to get to know your clients better, setting a strategic path of research and scalable approach for ongoing insights is key. And scalable is a key word here because building relationships is not once and done. We don't want to have a love them and leave them approach. It's we ask questions, we listen, we respect the answers, and then we address and have that ongoing dialogue or build that relationship based on all of that. So depending where you are at in your own transformation, it could mean starting with some broad segmentation values, like demographics or purchase behaviors. You can start anywhere. It can be broad like that, or you might be way deeper in your journey as well, going right into likes, dislikes, emotional state, thinking state. And that's how you really get to know and have that conversation and make it feel like you know that one person who you are talking to at any given moment, whether that's digitally or otherwise. Lesson number 2. We learned quickly that marketing's position in the company is one of an influencer and not a driver. Now, we inherently knew that at Sun Life, but when we heard our global CEO stand up a couple years ago and say, we are committed as a company to put the client at the center of everything we do. Regardless of what discipline you're in, what your role is in the company, you must always be thinking of that end client first. So as marketers, we cheered, we were excited, we were like, oh yes, it's finally our time. Because we think and breathe client first all the time. Well, it wasn't quite that easy. We're still not quite there. So as marketers, outside of Sun Life and inside of Sun Life, we need to get better at translating client-first priorities to bottom-line impact. How does investment in these client-first approaches, in the research, in the data, in the analytics, really translate to bottom line? Again, we're in P&L-based world, so that has to resonate. Now, the good news is that organizations are realizing the need to transform, structure themselves differently, create workflows differently. I think the word agile, I'm sure, is a favorite buzzword these days, but it's everywhere. So the good news is that with this comes commitment and investment in training. So again, eConsultancy reports that nearly 3 in 5 organizations perceive training teams and new techniques, channels, and disciplines to be extremely important. And I say this is good news because it gives us as marketers the opportunity to learn what we need, take the training we need, access the resources we need, and ultimately be able to shift that position from being an influencer to the driver. Lesson number 3. We need common access to data, analytics, and insights to serve clients better. Already over the course of this morning, we've heard the word data. I probably can't even count how many times, but that's because it's so key. And this is how we get to know our clients. We need to recognize that one person we're dialoguing with at any given time. And regardless of siloed business areas and channel gaps. And coming from a big organization, although small organizations can experience the same, the channel gap especially. I mean, I'm sure everyone at some point has called for service somewhere, and the IVR asks you to punch in a bunch of numbers, and even if you can find your numbers, you punch in all your numbers and answer some questions, and then a live person answers the phone, and they ask you for it all again. Killer, right? And obviously, if they can't make it from one step to the next that quickly, they don't know me, and they're not going to know me. So data is really that lifeblood of targeting, personalization, and omni-channel marketing. In a study just published in March, over half of respondents said they plan on increasing their budget for marketing analytics over the next year. And improving data analysis capabilities is considered key to better understanding customer experience requirements by 99% of respondents. When is there ever a study across North American organizations where 99% of respondents are having the same answer? So coming back to personalization, an example that I've run through as introducing this new digital program at Sun Life Canada is that we needed to dip our toe in the water. So we introduced a, I'll say relatively quick hit, 3-tier personalization model. So just 3 tiers, not 99, very complex, 3. And with that, we got the data we needed to be able to personalize. And by personalize, again, we needed to try it, test it, learn from it. Something as simple as calling somebody by their name, which sounds obvious, but when you have legacy data systems, to get the same name of that same person spelled the same way, it's amazing how difficult that can be. But good news, we figured it out. So with that, that 3-tier model, we discovered quickly that personalization in that top tier produces 5 times the engagement rate. So 5 times, just by having a relatively introductory version of personalization. And that's a great, easy story to tell to your business owner's bottom line impact. So to wrap up, I'd be remiss not to highlight that all 3 points need client value metrics to be successful. And if you can't measure it, you can't learn from it, let alone convince your partners in your organization of its impact on bottom line. So challenge you to ask yourselves where your company stands on those 3 core points. Do you know your clients well enough? Do you play